Why do you face more sexual temptations? The Bible reveals sexual temptation is one of the most common and powerful struggles in the human experience. Many believers ask, why does it seem stronger now than ever? Why do I face more sexual temptations even when I am trying to grow closer to God, divine wisdom? Rather than leaving us confused or ashamed, Scripture reveals both the spiritual roots of temptation and the grace available to overcome it. First, the Bible teaches that human nature has been wounded by original sin in the book of Genesis. After the fall of Adam and Eve, humanity's relationship with God, with others, and even within ourselves was disrupted. The Catholic Church calls this inner disorder concupiscence, the inclination toward sin that remains even after baptism. Baptism removes original sin, but it does not erase the struggle. As St. Paul writes in Romans 7:19, "For I do not do the good I want, but the evil I do not want is what I do." Sexual temptation is often intensified because it touches one of the most powerful drives placed within us, the desire for union and love. Second, sexual temptation may increase when you are spiritually growing. The devil does not need to fight hard for a soul that is drifting away from God. But when someone begins praying more deeply, attending Mass faithfully, or seeking holiness, spiritual opposition can intensify. In 1 Peter 5-8, we are warned, "Be sober and vigilant. Your adversary the devil prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour." Temptation does not mean you are weak or rejected by God. Sometimes it is a sign that your soul matters in the spiritual battle. The Catholic tradition reminds us that Jesus himself was tempted. In Matthew 4:1-11, Christ was tempted in the desert. Though the Gospel does not specify sexual temptation, Hebrews 4:15 assures us that Jesus was tempted in every way that we are, yet without sin. This means temptation itself is not a sin. Sin begins when we freely consent to it. Understanding this distinction is crucial. Many believers suffer unnecessary guilt simply for being tempted, when in reality the struggle itself can be a path to holiness. Another reason sexual temptation may seem stronger today is the culture surrounding us. Modern society often normalizes and promotes lust, pornography, and casual sexual relationships. Jesus teaches in Matthew 5:28, "Everyone who looks at a woman with lust has already committed adultery with her in his heart." In a world saturated with images and messages that distort the meaning of sexuality, the battle becomes more constant. The Church teaches that sexuality is a gift from God, ordered toward love, unity in marriage, and openness to life. When separated from its divine purpose, it easily becomes disordered desire. There is also a deeper spiritual dimension. Sometimes sexual temptation intensifies during loneliness, stress, discouragement, or spiritual dryness. The human heart longs for intimacy, affirmation, and comfort. When these needs are not met in healthy ways, the temptation to seek quick pleasure becomes stronger. Yet the Catechism of the Catholic Church teaches that our deepest longing is for communion with God. As St. Augustine famously wrote, "Our hearts are restless until they rest in you." Sexual temptation can sometimes mask a deeper thirst for God's love. Why would God allow this struggle? Because through temptation, virtue is strengthened. In James 1:12 we read, "Blessed is the man who perseveres in temptation, for when he has been proved he will receive the crown of life." Every resisted temptation builds spiritual muscles. Just as physical strength grows through resistance, purity grows through battle. The saints were not people without temptation. They were people who repeatedly chose grace over desire. The sacraments are central in this fight. Confession is not a place of shame but of healing. The Eucharist strengthens the soul with Christ's own life. When we fall, we must not despair. Proverbs 20:16 says, "The just man falls 7 times and rises again." God's mercy is always greater than our weakness. Practical spiritual steps also matter. Prayer, fasting, and accountability help discipline the body and focus the mind. Avoiding near occasions of sin, such as certain websites, media, or situations, is not weakness but wisdom. Philippians 4:8 encourages believers to dwell on what is pure and honorable. Filling the mind with Scripture and holy thoughts gradually reshapes desires. Most importantly, remember that sexuality itself is not evil. It is holy, created by God. The problem is not desire, but disordered desire. Through grace, desire can be purified. Over time, God transforms not just behavior, but the heart. If you are facing more sexual temptations, do not interpret it as God abandoning you. Instead, it may be a call to deeper reliance on Him. The struggle can become a path to humility, perseverance, and authentic love. In 1 Corinthians 10:13, we are promised, "No temptation has overtaken you that is not common to man. God is faithful, and He will not let you be tempted beyond your strength. But with the temptation will also provide the way of escape." The Bible reveals that temptation is part of the Christian journey, but it is never the final word. Grace is stronger than desire, Christ is stronger than sin, and through Him, even the fiercest sexual temptations can become stepping stones toward holiness. Thank you for watching the video. Please like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next video. Goodbye.